Getting a post-match interview here with Dave Northfield and Tim Sargeant after tonight's 2-1 defeat to Hertford Town. Dave, disappointing way to end the home campaign here. Probably wasn't a lot in the game overall, and we could possibly have nicked a draw out of the game in the end. But how did you see it? I felt that we started the game quite well on the front foot, got the early goal, but I felt we didn't really sort of kick on after then to sort of ram home that early advantage.
Yeah, we had the opportunity. There was a big shirt pull on Tom in the box, and it's almost a sitter of a header, and the guy's dragging him. By the time he gets loose, he can't quite get enough behind it to get on target. So, which would have put us 2-0 at the time, and you're right, we started well. I thought we defended well as also. I mean, we contained them to one effort on target with feet, and unfortunately the goal they scored. But I think the minimum we deserved out was a point. I don't think we deserved a defeat. You know, unfortunately the second goal is, I don't know what happened with young Jack, but he's headed it back into a dangerous area when he could have just flipped it off anywhere. If he'd have missed it altogether, it would have been better for us. But it gives them the goal to go 2-up, and then we've had majority of the game from that. Especially down the right, well, both sides. We really got at them. I'm not going to say we made tons and tons of chances, because we didn't. I thought they defended well in numbers, but we had enough pressure to create something out of it. So, and the shame is second half, I felt their opportunities were more on the break and few and far between, whereas I felt we were the lion's share of possession was from us, and against obviously a good side. I mean, they're a good side. They've been on a poor run. We've been on, I'm still, like I keep saying, I'm quite pleased with our run. We're not. Even the games that we've been beaten, we've been in them all the way through. So it's not like we're getting badly beaten with anybody. We're there and there. They've all been winnable. We've unfortunately not put the draws into wins, and we've not turned the defeats into draws. But they're a good side, and we're probably, like I say, I was a bit where I was getting round to is that when you're on that run, we play. I'm not going to suggest we're the same as Hertford, but we get down and play. We're not going to stick it in the box in the air all the time. We're not going to kick them off the park, if you like, and turn it into a physical battle. So we kind of suited them a little bit today. It was a good game. I mean, they played some good stuff.
I felt like, considering there wasn't a great deal on the game, I thought it was a decent spectacle. Particularly first half, I thought both teams played some decent stuff. Yeah,
and I agree. And I think if you, if we played Hertford, if the whole season was us v Hertford, 36 games, you'd probably end up equal points. We'd win as many as we lost, and we'd get a fair few draws. And I think there's not too much between the two sides. And on a flip of a coin, it'll turn either way. If Tom gets the second and we go 2-up, if they're a little bit fragile, we probably win the game. As it is, that decision didn't go our way. And they, in the first half, they kept knocking on our door, and as I've said, that we had the line share second half. I thought the last 20 minutes of the first half they had the line share. In the end they kept knocking, and they they created that one opportunity. So I think there was nothing in it, and unfortunately we've come, the coins come down the wrong side for us today.
Tim, I would suggest that, again, the fact that we've had to play Luke in goal today, we lose Harry Dawson early on as well. Yeah. It almost epitomised things a little bit with the way things have gone for us this season. I know everybody struggles with injuries and stuff, but I feel like we've suffered more than most, and that's. I don't know whether it's maybe played a part in the result tonight, but I just think, in general, over the course of the season, those accumulation of injuries and those constant changes in the squad have maybe affected our ability to get sort of get beyond the sort of mid-table position that we've always been sort of chasing to get beyond all season.
Yeah, and that has an impact on what we're playing for tonight to a certain extent. So it does have an impact on today's game. But I'd say I was quite pleased with the first half an hour and how we played, and it's not been an uncommon trend that we've scored the first goal and we maybe don't quite do enough or don't quite get it over the line to take the game away from the opposition before they're inevitably going to have their period in the game. I thought we lost our way a little bit in the second half and struggled to keep possession as well as we normally do, as certainly what we try to do. But yeah, as you've alluded to there, we've had a difficult season in terms of trying to juggle numerous injuries, and to not have your first choice goalkeeper makes it difficult, particularly when you're defending inside your 6-yard box, which I think is where the 2 goals have come from. So
I mean, I don't think we should. I don't think we could be critical of Luke for either of the goals, really. I think to be fair, he's stepped up at short notice today, and to be fair to him, he's done all right. And he's made a couple of decent saves in the game. Yeah,
I credit to Luke because he has stepped up exactly, and I'll make it clear that he's not at fault for either of the goals. I think what you'll find is you probably would like to take the game away from your own penalty area if you've not got your first choice goalkeeper. And there was periods, certainly that first period, where I was really pleased with how we played. I thought we moved the ball quite well and created several opportunities. There's a couple of chances from distance where maybe you slide someone in, but I actually think sometimes we score those ones, and then you're loving life with Tom scoring on his last game at home, and you probably go on to enjoy the rest of the game. But a disappointing one today, because I think there's very few games I can think of this season where we've not felt we've certainly been in the tie, or that it's been taken away from us, and yet again we're sat maybe. Well, certainly I'm frustrated with the result, because there were periods in the game where we certainly could have made more of it for ourselves.
I would say that probably reflecting on now we've played all our home games, the home form's been a little bit disappointing this season, and we've actually picked up more points on the road this season than we have at home. Whereas when we first came up, we were stronger at home than we were away from home. What do you think? Obviously, there's circumstance behind some of those, but do you think there's a particular reason why we've picked up more points on the road than at home this season?
I think the one answer I'd offer to that is that we clearly had several games postponed during the winter period, during the bad weather period, and so we've had a lot of home games at the back end of the season where we've had to play a lot of games all in a tight space of time at home, and unfortunately, the last few have been in a situation where we've got nothing to necessarily play for in terms of the playoffs. So,
I would say a lot of the games recently, I think because we've had nothing to play for, maybe that extra 1-2% that we would normally push through and try and win a game maybe hasn't quite been there. I don't think it's through lack of effort from the players. I think it's just. It can sometimes just be a subconscious thing where you don't quite give it that full throttle, because there's not as much at stake as what perhaps there was last season.
Well, if even only 1% of my mind is on next season and trying to think about what that looks like, that's 1% more than what it would have been for the Senior Cup final, let's say, where every single person's effort, every single mind was sharpened on we had a job to do and we were going to do everything in our power to get the right result that day. It goes without saying that can't be said for games when you've not got that to fight for anymore.
Good stuff. Dave, just finally, just a mention for the skipper, obviously disappointing that we couldn't get a win in his final home game tonight, but he obviously had a couple of chances to get himself on the score sheet and make it a bit of a fairy tale ending as well, but it wasn't to be.
No, it's not. The first goal comes from his header, which I think was potentially still going on target. I don't know.
No, I think it was going wide, but it was a good assist for him.
All right, we'll give him the assist on that. And look, he's got his shot on target tonight. Again, we spoke at half time. There's potentially probably something to run to roll in, but then I can't blame him. You know, he's got a game to go. He's been brilliant for us. you know, I can't tell you for how much we'll miss him. You know, Tom's always been honest about how he plays. He's always honest about his ability, and in terms of, if you look at some of the players playing for the side with their technical ability, then Tom will say, I'm not their level. But then Tom brings so many more attributes to our club. And look,
I think he's one of those players that you don't realise what he brings to the team until he's not there.
Absolutely, and if there's a tackle he makes it. If there's a defensive error to be made, he makes it. And what he does, what he's like in training, he's the most annoying man in the world in the change room, honestly, and I think he's quite proud of it. But in terms of how we are as a club and how we are, and people will ask questions about how do we manage to keep this all together, but it's because of characters like him, and you're in there, and honestly, he's the oldest, but he's like the youngest at times. The noise he makes and everything else, but that's us, and that's our changing room is the best place. At times it's just the greatest place to be. You're in there, it's funny. The banter's brilliant, everything's brilliant, and look, he's the loudest in there, and he's the top of that. And if he isn't starting it, he's finishing it. So, like I say, what he bring up, what we miss is to find something to replace that is it's going to be so difficult. And when you say about when you see what the guy does, you look at the cup final when I thought he was just
outstanding.
He was phenomenal, and in certain games there are games that are set up for Tom, and he gets us through them, and it's as simple as that. Even going back to the Kings Langley game away when he'd had 3 months off, he came out that day. And again, he wasn't great that day, but he got that over the line, and he managed to score one for him. But he got the game over the line because of his experience. Headers and challenges in our box when it was coming in late on, he wins it. So he's done his best to bring him back into it, but he also got over the line. But yeah, I can't say enough about him. Every plaudit he gets from our supporters, our club, anything to do with his club, he deserves. He came to us, to get that phone call when I did and just go, "Are you interested?" was, best phone call probably we've ever had. So it's a shame. It's an absolute gutter, but we wish him well.
Well, commiserations tonight, gents. One more to go away at Aylesbury on Saturday, and let's hope we can finish with a win.
Lovely.
Cheers, gents.
Thank you.